Hello, I'm Chris Sparrow with the BBC News. Britain's Conservative Party has swept to its biggest parliamentary majority since Margaret Thatcher's election victory in 1983, winning by almost 80 seats. The Prime Minister Boris Johnson has spoken to the Queen at Buckingham Palace to seek her permission to form a government. He's promised to fulfil his campaign slogan, Get Brexit Done. The BBC's Norman Smith has this assessment of the Conservative Party's victory.
It means, it seems to me, Boris Johnson has just won a two-term majority because with the scale of majority he's got, it's very hard to see how in one bound Labour or another party can somehow claw back all those seats. So Boris Johnson could well be in number 10 for the next 10 years. It also means, I think, we will find out who actually Boris Johnson is. Many of his supporters, people who were with him during his days as London Mayor, believe the true one nation Boris Johnson, the metropolitan liberal Conservative, will re-emerge now he's got a free hand.
It was a disastrous result for the opposition Labour Party, which crashed to its biggest defeat in more than 80 years. The Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, says he'll step down, but not immediately. Some in the party blamed his hard left policies for the defeat. Others accused pro-EU Labour politicians in London of alienating Brexit supporters in the north. Here's Rob Watson.
The Labour Party now faces this sort of existential question, which is, what is it for? Is it a party of the working classes? Is it an urban party? Is it a party of the young? And what is its ideology? Does it stay with, as Mr Corbyn would like, as a distinctly socialist party, or does it move back to the sort of centre ground of Tony Blair? And what does it do about the whole issue of Europe?
The pro-independence Scottish National Party has made significant gains, winning all but 11 of the country's 59 seats in the UK Parliament. The SNP leader, Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon, said the vote represented a strengthened mandate for another Scottish independence referendum. For the first time in Northern Ireland, seats held by parties that favour a united Ireland now outnumber unionists. The value of the pound and British stock markets have risen as traders welcome the firm Conservative election victory, expecting it will remove some of the uncertainties around Brexit. The election result has also removed concerns by many investors about Labour's plans for an increase in public spending. Dame Carolyn Fairbairn is the Director General of the Confederation of British Industry.
Business has been desperate for clarity and certainty for 3.5 years now, and this result does remove from the table some of the most damaging policies that were coming from the left that we think would have really damaged business. It also gives a timetable for Brexit, a sense that we will leave at the end of January and that we will have a transition period until the end of December.
World news from the BBC. A South African court has ruled that children of undocumented immigrants have a right to an education regardless of their legal status in the country. The case was brought by local advocacy groups representing dozens of children who'd been turned away from schools. The court also ruled South African children without birth certificates or identity documents cannot be denied education. That affects an estimated 900,000 children this year. The governing party in Zimbabwe is holding its annual conference amid a deepening economic crisis and a drought that has left millions facing severe food shortages. President Emmerson Mnangagwa will be seeking support from ZANU-PF members at a time when his leadership is coming under increased criticism. More from Will Ross.
The thousands of ZANU-PF members will cheer and applaud President Emmerson Mnangagwa as he calls for everyone to rally behind the government's plans. At the conference in Goromonzi, east of the capital Harare, he'll repeat the line that the governing party has the answers to revive Zimbabwe's economy. But that's a hard message to swallow when there's soaring inflation, and a drought has also contributed to a severe food crisis. It's clear that the Zimbabwean government is terrified that the opposition could take advantage of the current situation. In order to stop that happening, human rights are once again being trampled, rallies have been banned, and it can be dangerous to criticise the government.
Iraq's highest Shia Muslim authority, the Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani, has condemned the recent wave of killings and kidnappings of protesters in the country. Iraqis have been protesting since October against corruption, unemployment and poor public services. And a Russian court has sentenced a Jehovah's Witness to 6 years in jail for extremist activity. Vladimir Alushkin is the latest adherent of the Christian group to be jailed in Russia after it was outlawed in 2017. He was arrested in July last year when masked police officers raided his home, seizing mobile phones and Bibles. And that's the latest BBC News.